In a small but picturesque town in the south of France, there lived a baker named François. He was not just a baker, he was a true master of his craft, a master of the art of baking and cooking. His bread was famous throughout the area, and his rolls delighted even the most discerning gourmets. However, despite his talent, François was not happy. His heart was broken, and not because of failures in the baking craft, but because of one lady who had not paid attention to him for a long time. She called herself Julie, and she was a gorgeous woman with eyes the color of a spring sky and a smile that could melt any heart. François met her one day on the square when she went to his bakery for fresh rolls. Her steps were light, and her voice was like a melody. He was amazed by her beauty. Since that day, every time she entered his store, François tried to find ways to attract her attention. He prepared the best treats for her, but she always remained cold and refused his offers. "You're a great baker, François, but..." she said with a smile, but her gaze never expressed interest in him as a man. But François was stubborn and determined. He was sure that his art could win Julie's heart if he found a way to surprise her in a way that no one else could. He started thinking about it day and night. He was trying to come up with something really special, not just a bun, not just a cake, but something that could leave Julie speechless. And so, one evening, when the bakery was quiet and empty, François decided that the moment had come for his most daring experiment. He closed his eyes and thought about what he had to create. Inspiration came unexpectedly. He needed not just to make bread, but to make it art. And he came up with a croissant, not just a croissant, but a masterpiece. Inspired by the French tradition, he decided to use a dough that was light, airy, but incredibly crunchy. He applied a special lamination technique, making each layer of dough so thin that it could almost be considered as art. And, most importantly, he decided to put his soul and love into each croissant. He added a few drops of vanilla and honey to make the fragrance not just delicious, but mesmerizing. François worked carefully on each element, making the dough perfect, and baked it until golden brown, creating an unforgettable flavor that filled the entire bakery. The next morning, when Julie came back for fresh rolls, François served her not ordinary bread, but delicious, perfectly curved croissants with a delicate but crisp crust and such a flavor that it was impossible not to stop and get closer. Julie was surprised to accept the gift, unaware that it was a work of art and not just a pastry. As soon as she took the first bite, her eyes widened in delight. It was a taste she had never tasted before. The tenderness of the dough, the crispy crust, and the light aroma of vanilla and honey were all so mesmerizing that she couldn't stop. "This is unbelievable," she whispered, hardly believing her feelings. At that moment, François realized that perhaps he had found the way to her heart. "This is my new recipe, Julie," he said with a smile. "I created it for you. To surprise you and show you how I feel." Julie looked at him, and her face suddenly became soft and warm. She couldn't hide what she was feeling anymore. This moment was important not only for her, but also for herself as a woman who could be amazed not only by her appearance, but also by what was hidden in the depths of her soul. "You really know how to surprise, François," she said, kissing him on the cheek, and his heart swayed with happiness. "You're not just a baker, you're a real artist." From that day on, Julie started visiting the bakery every day, and not just to try croissants. Soon, she began spending more time with François, discussing not only recipes, but also lives, dreams, and relationships. When François realized that his recipes and skills had given him love, he realized that he had not just invented a new dish. He created a masterpiece that was much more valuable than any bread. And his croissant became a symbol of the passion he put into his cooking, the passion that led to him winning Julie's heart. This is how the croissant was born, the pride of France, which centuries later became a favorite treat around the world, but for François it will always remain a symbol of that love that began with one delicious smell and a perfect piece of dough.